if I would have went live right when we got him. It looked like he had a microphone hat on. All right. It's good to see you.
Good morning.
And let's get going. Here we go.
Absolutely.
Good Health by Claudia podcast with me, Denny Schaefer, a production of Denny Radio. It is episode 24. Yay! All right, before we get going and before we introduce our guest, I must read this disclaimer. The information contained in these podcasts and Facebook Live is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or health condition. Please consult a qualified healthcare professional if you do have a medical condition. The FDA has not evaluated the information on this podcast, which represents the opinions of the hosts and our guests. And that is now time to introduce our guest. It's Dan Chapman, the owner and visionary of the wonderful and innovative supplement company, Remedies. Dan, welcome to the broadcast.
Welcome, Dan. Good to see you.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here with you today.
Wow, we're excited to have you. Thank you.
We are, because every time we do one of these, we get more knowledge. We gain more knowledge. And more knowledge when it comes to your health and supplements and holistic information is just the best. Now, what would you like our viewers and listeners to know about you, Dan?
Oh, goodness. What I want you to know. I have a long history in the natural food industry, probably much like you, Claudia. It was my mom and dad that started a health food store in 1961. So I've literally grown up in the aisles of a health food store. And I will tell you from a young age, I fell in love with helping customers solve their health challenges.
Yes.
And so I still get a rush every time I hear a story of an individual that had, whatever the health challenge might be.
Yes.
And we gave them an herb or changed their diet a little bit and they got better. I'm still amazed by that and excited by that every day.
And it's a blessing, isn't it?
Oh my goodness.
It's such a blessing.
I can't think of anything better to do. It truly is. It is a blessing to be able to love and care for people and to connect with them, not just in herbs and food. That's great. And we need that, right? To live and to thrive.
Yes.
But we are more than pills and food, aren't we, Claudia?
Yes, absolutely.
So we've always believed that, and kind of even at my mom early days when she's running the health food store, we would always tell people, we do sell pills and we do sell healthy food, but we are full human beings. So we care about you socially and spiritually and physically and all of it. So
absolutely.
We need the whole person.
We need the whole person. And that's exactly what holistic health means, right? It's the whole person. And that's what's not being addressed in the system that we're all dealing with. That's why I'm so grateful for you and all this. Listen, I honor that your parents or your mom started that store in 1961. We always talk about how important the original stores are because they are the heart and soul of what we do. And they can sell supplements everywhere, all over the place. Doesn't mean that the people selling them care about them. And health food stores, we care. So I really honor what your family has done and that you've maintained it. So is the original store still there?
It is. Yeah, we are. It's funny. Our original store is in Lansing, Illinois. If you go there, the front of it looks like a barn. And I just remodeled the barn 2 years ago because the barn front was getting old. I said, we are not taking that barn off of the store.
Right.
Originally, many years ago, my parents had an organic farm before organic was even a thing.
Right.
Because they needed food that would be grown without chemicals and pesticides and all of that. And so, originally it was Sunrise Farm Health Foods. And, I dropped the word farm quite a few years ago. We don't have an organic farm today. I kind of wish we did, but we're Sunrise Health Foods. But that original store still has the barn on the front.
That is awesome.
That is. What a great story. Now, before we get talking about all the products that you guys have, I have to ask a question. It's why I'm here, because I'm new to the game when it comes to supplements, and I call it lifestyle. I don't call it diet. I call it lifestyle. I've changed my lifestyle, people. I've dropped 20 pounds since the beginning of January. I'm off my prescription drugs. So I call it that. But what do you say to somebody who says, ooh, holistic. That sounds kind of creepy and kind of weird. Holistic's like hippie sound or whatever. Do you ever run into that? What do you say to people about holistic? And maybe we need to change the conversation away from holistic because it might sound spooky to different people.
Yeah.
How do you respond to that, Dan?
Yeah, that's a great question. And really, I start, depending on where somebody is at, I start with really just very simple things of a couple of good habits to add. I think that's better than maybe telling you all the things that you're doing that we shouldn't be doing anymore. So a lot of times I'll start with very, very simple things. One of the habits that I've had since I was little, and I really encourage people to do, is when you go to bed at night, put a glass of water in your nightstand. So the first thing you do in the morning is you just drink a glass of water. And it doesn't have to be a quart of water. Just drink a glass of water. It is the absolute best way to start your day. And so you can have a cup of coffee later. That's fine. But start your day with a glass of water. And so that's holistic. So that is a holistic way to live. And so that seems pretty normal to me, right?
Right. So you put basically what you're doing is you're putting people at ease. It's not some kind of voodoo crazy, incense burning, weird gypsy music and all that. But it's just natural living.
But it's interesting.
Maybe we should change it to natural living.
Well, wait a minute. But it's interesting you're saying that because this is really the propaganda that's been drilled into the public's consciousness about natural things, that they're weird and they're this and they're that. Yeah. No, we are addressing the whole person. So maybe we should call it whole person approach. I don't know, but it's an interesting thing you're asking, Denny.
All right, before we start talking about the products, I see we have a number of people watching us online. Thank you to all of you.
Thank you, everybody.
Put your comments or questions in the comment section of your Facebook page. And if you want to share this while you're watching with everybody that, follows you, please, we encourage that. But any questions, put them in the comment section. We'll see them, and then we'll address them with Dan and Claudia. Yeah. So, Claudia, where do you want to start?
So, Dan, I brought 4 different products. We always like to show the products so everybody knows what they're looking at. You guys have made some really wonderful products, and I honor what you do because the heart and soul of what our industry is really about. Yeah. Your products are very clean. They're made with a good consciousness. I love that. So let's start with joint health because this is becoming a really popular product for us.
Oh, now,
This particular one are the chews I brought. Yeah. People love the chews. They love the way they taste. Yeah. So tell us about the eggshell membrane. Yeah. Let's start there.
Yeah, and our joint health product is a good representation of how we think at Red Remedies. And so, just as you started, Denny, asking, well, what's holistic and what does that mean? Right. Well, every part of our body needs to be fed with different food. It's the same reason that when we hopefully eat throughout the day, we eat a variety of foods because those different foods and different nutrients are going to feed different areas of the body. And what's interesting is there are very specific foods that feed different parts of your body, different types of structure. And of course, we know that our joints are like tendons and cartilage and ligaments and things like that hold the whole bones and the muscles and everything together. And so what we found is that the membrane inside an eggshell, so you crack that egg, right? We've all seen that thin little membrane. Maybe if you hard boil an egg, you'll see it the most. You get the egg off and some of that membrane sticks. Yes. Well, that thin little membrane, as thin but strong as it is, naturally has everything in it that we need to have healthy joint structure. And not just cartilage, but tendons and ligaments, the whole structure.
Yes.
So all we've done in our joint health supplements is concentrate this natural eggshell membrane. We haven't isolated or removed anything. We've simply concentrated it. And then we do a process called hydrolysis, which essentially is just using some water and some pressure to help break it down. So it's a clean process because that membrane in our own digestive systems, while if you decided to peel eggs and get your own membrane, that's great. Go ahead and eat it. It's good for you. We'll have a little bit of a hard time breaking that down ourselves. So again, a little water, little pressure, process called hydrolysis, and it helps kind of break some of it down, makes it easier for us to use. But the important thing for me is that we leave the whole thing intact. So naturally occurring in that eggshell membrane, you'll have glucosamine and chondroitin and hyaluronic acid and sulfur-based aminos, all of these things that your listeners maybe have heard of, but we keep them in a food context. It allows your body to recognize it and utilize it well. And I will tell you, our studies are pretty amazing. We can say that with one a day, one of those little black cherry flavored soft chews, so it does taste really nice, one a day is all you need. In 4 to 10 days, we can tell you, you will have a clinically significant difference in the pain that you feel in your joints and the stiffness that you experience. You'll find that, wow, I'm just a little more flexible, and that's amazing. My pain levels have reduced.
Yeah.
And if you push that out 30 days, the results are staggering. It's a food. It's holistic, Denny. And it's
I love it. I love it.
It's a whole, and it reminded me when I first saw this product that you were using, the membrane. It reminded me years ago, because I worked at Bassett's here in Toledo, and I started when I was 16. Was there, I left at 30, and then we've been in business ever since. So very grateful. I always say I'm one of those weirdos hanging out in a health food store for 49 years. It's a great blessing. But at any rate, years ago at Bassett's, there was a product. It was the chicken feet powder. Yeah. And we used to sell a ton of it. People had great results with it. I don't even know if they still make it anymore. But when I saw that, I thought, man, this is a great product. Yeah. So you've done a nice job. Yeah. And also, there's a lot of people that are either tired of swallowing capsules and tablets. They can't swallow them if they're elderly. So the chewable is a wonderful idea. And we've had some wonderful feedback on this product.
Yeah, I like chewables. You know what's amazing to me, just listening to you guys talk, that somebody noticed the egg membrane and thought, I wonder if that's good for anything, and did testing, and then you find out what it really can do for people. It's just amazing. I just get astonished when I hear you guys talk about this stuff. So
it was a farmer in Missouri that discovered that membrane by watching an elderly dog that came to his farm recover in 2 weeks. A dog that wasn't active and wasn't moving and would eat the broken chicken eggs. And then the farmer noticed it. And within 2 weeks, that dog was running around.
Isn't that amazing? That's very cool.
That is amazing. And you don't want to, grab your eggs and lick the inside of a shell. You get one of these, get some of these gummies.
But they're not, they're a chew actually.
What's the difference between a chew and a gummy?
There's no gelatin in here, correct?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So a gummy will have gelatin in it.
Usually has some kind of gelatin in it, correct, Dan?
It's soft and they're kind of chewy and they taste really nice. So, yep.
And it says fast, 4 to 10 day results.
Yeah, and people are getting them that quick. Now, everyone's different. If somebody's living on tons of sugar every day, they may not get the results as quickly, but it's a great product. And it's interesting. We always teach people, God and nature provide everything we need.
Yes.
We don't need to make it a artificial substance out of a laboratory.
Right.
God and nature provide, and that's a perfect example.
Yeah.
And the other thing I always tell people, we're here to nourish. We're nourishing the body. Yeah. And so anyway, it's a great product. So
beautiful. Love it.
Anything else you want to go over about this product, or should we move on to?
Other than I encourage you to give it a try, everybody. And I will tell you also, this is a product that you can use preventatively. So if you're an athlete, and you say, you know what, I'm feeling pretty good, but I know that if I'm pounding my joints every day, I'm working hard, or maybe it's CrossFit or whatever it is that you do, and you want those muscles and tendons to be strong, the connective tissue, Joint Health has incredible studies on it as well, showing how it will prevent the breakdown of cartilage in the first place.
Yes.
And there's no other natural ingredient that we can say that does that.
Yes.
So it'll help repair for those that have a problem today and prevent if we're, potential for that in the future.
And being proactive and preventive is the key,
it
right?
Is.
We have millions of people just going along. They're eating all this stuff. They're taking on, they're not thinking about it. We're teaching people to be mindful. Yeah. So prevention is what it's all about.
And
so if you have arthritis,
joints, because in our joints, there is no indicator that you're going to have arthritis. Like the indicator of arthritis is I have arthritis now and it hurts. That's the indicator when it's too late.
Yes.
So I have arthritis bad. It's a hereditary thing. My mom had it horrible, and I have it throughout my body. So this would be something that I would want to try.
You would use it right away. Absolutely.
Okay.
I won't be leaving with this bag.
Nope.
Denny will take that bag.
If you guys knew, like when we do it, Claudia has all the products right in front of
they
her.
all end up in his pile.
And then if I take the product and then I move it over here on my side, that's my cue to Claudia, or my clue. I send her that this is not going home with you.
I love it.
So this is not going home with Claudia.
But the beauty of what Denny is doing, and he's helping many other people understand, we're all learning as we go, right? Mm-hmm. We learn every day. He's heard me say a million times, I'm a student every day, and I like it that way. Yeah. So when Denny tries something, his heart is in it, and people see that. So he's helping to wake up a whole group of people that never would have thought about these things. So I really appreciate that, and you do a good job.
I am the guinea pig, people, and I enjoy it.
So one last thing about the chews, because you brought up about the pets, about the dog.
Yeah.
Can these chews be, I know there's organic cane sugar, and can you give them to an animal?
So we have a product called Renew, RENU, which is specifically for pets that has the same ingredient in there. So you might want to look at that one, Claudia. RENU, Renew.
We're going to bring that in because we have a wonderful pet department. It's very extensive. Yep. So we're definitely going to bring this product in. So thank you for talking about that. Okay, next, let's do Brain Awakening.
Ooh, yes.
We've had some wonderful feedback on this product. Yeah. So tell us about it.
Yeah. So one of the things I want us to understand as I start to talk about this is I just want to say that stress has an impact on our entire bodies.
Yes.
And so I just want to help our listener understand that we feel stress, right? We can have a stressful day and maybe a long season of stress. That stress has an impact. One of the places it has an impact is on our brains. So what is it that's happening? Well, one of the minerals or nutrients, I should say, that our brain is dependent on is actually magnesium. And you might be thinking, well, I've heard of magnesium and I know my body needs that, but I'll say it's newer information for us in the last 10 or 20 years scientifically, how dependent our brains are on magnesium. So how does that relate to stress? Magnesium is a resource for your body, kind of like a fuel. So if you're one of those that races down the highway at 80 miles an hour, your vehicle is going to use more fuel than if you went the speed limit.
Yes.
Our body's the same way. It's one of the things that happens under stress is we are going to use more of this fuel, more of this magnesium. The tough thing with magnesium, it's a mineral that most of us are deficient in to begin with. So it's not a mineral that most of us are walking around having plenty of excess, and so we can accommodate using more. We're deficient anyway. And so one of the things that our brain absolutely needs magnesium for is the connectors for our brain cells. Those connectors are called synapses. So you can kind of look at them as the wires that connect our brain cells or those neurons. And without magnesium, or when our synapses are deficient in that magnesium, they lose some density. So it's kind of like, connecting our brain cells, but they're not connected as strongly or efficiently as they should be. And so it causes us to maybe have some nervous thoughts or a racing brain, or to be very forgetful. There's so much information. I can't take it all in. I can't recall what it is that I remembered yesterday. Yes. Or I get frustrated, or maybe I can't, I'm losing the words that I was thinking of for this. So that's where we start with Brain Awakening, is we need to replace that magnesium so those synapses can really connect our brain cells the way that they're designed to. Now, when it comes to magnesium, it's important to understand that our body protects our brain. So there's this thing called the blood-brain barrier, and certain nutrients, magnesium included, has to be in a very specific form to cross that barrier.
Yes.
So magnesium is interesting because our body can use magnesium in a number of different wonderful forms. our brain uses it in one form, and that's magnesium L-threonate.
Yes.
The patented form called magtine, and that's what we use in Brain Awakening. And that has a very specific chelating agent. You can look at that as a carrier, a transporter. It takes the magnesium from my body or my gut up to my brain. We can trace that magnesium from your mouth in that capsule to your brain 6 hours.
That's amazing.
How fast it goes to the brain. We have studies that will show that within 2 weeks, it will literally transform the density of those synapses in 2 weeks.
That's wonderful.
So,
that is really very important what you're saying.
So it very quickly, it will help those brain cells, if you will, start firing and start connecting the way that they're designed to. And what does that translate into? Well, it translates into a brain that actually does what it's supposed to. I can think, I can focus, I can concentrate, I can remember things. I can recall things. I can make decisions a little easier. Those are the day-to-day things that we experience. And we have studies showing that it will not only do that for those of us as we get older, but we actually have studies showing that it can make a dramatic improvement in short and long-term memory for a younger, what we would call a healthy population group. So 30-year-olds that are healthy, it makes a difference at that age as well. So for that college student, for that young person, as well as the rest of us as we're getting just a little bit older.
You know,
good stuff.
Good stuff. And before, hold on. What? Something I just want to say, you know, I'm proud of the fact that health food stores have been leading the conversation and education about nutrition since how many years now? It goes back to the early 1900s. And we've educated thousands of people how important magnesium is. When this particular form came on the market, I'm like, well, that's pretty cool. And since the threonate has been around and we're putting more people on it, the feedback we get is amazing. People feel calmer in their brain. So it's a beautiful form that you use. Now you also have amla in here, which is a lovely food.
Yes. Yeah.
And tell us about amla.
So amla is there to protect the whole brain structure. Because we know that as we age, we need to protect our bodies, right? And so we need to protect very specific areas of the body. And the beautiful thing about amla is it is a potent antioxidant. No doubt you would have heard of antioxidants before, but it's unique. It's what we would call a cascading antioxidant. And that simply means that it has the ability to stay active in our bodies for very long periods of time, quenching these free radicals. Free radicals are things that create cellular damage, and we want to stop those guys, right?
Right.
So amla stays active in the body for very long periods of time, quenching these free radicals. The impact of that in our brain is it protects our brain from oxidative stress, from damage, and from plaque buildup. So it's a wonderful ingredient to use on a consistent basis to keep our brains healthy and functioning and active, and I'll say soft, spongy, and pliable for a lifetime. That's what we want for our brain. Did you know, Denny, that you want a soft, spongy brain?
I've been accused of much worse. Trust me.
The other thing I just want to mention about amla, you see it in a lot of the food-based vitamin C products.
Yes. Yep.
So it's rich in vitamin C, correct?
Yes, it is rich in vitamin C and really a wonderful mix of polyphenols and these wonderful antioxidants. So it's a great one to use. And there's studies of its benefits really throughout the body on many different things. So we use it here specifically because it is also just fantastic for brain health.
And then real quick.
You're killing me, Claudia.
I know, hold on a second. Lion's mane. We've done a couple interviews with Host Defense, which is a wonderful company. Yes. And we've talked about lion's mane a couple times. So here, Denny, show that.
I'll keep that short.
So
I already did.
I know, but show it one more time.
All right,
please.
one more time. Brain Awakening.
So that's the three things in that product.
Remedies.
Wonderful formula.
And I'm sorry, we're out of time. We have no more products because Claudia won't move on. Kidding. We'll squeeze them in here.
All right. Now, enjoy.
Yes.
As in INJOY.
Yes. This is an important one. I would say for where we're at in our moment in history, right? Where so many of us have experienced stress these last couple of years. And really, I'd say all of us.
Yes.
And that stress is hard. And for many individuals with isolation and not being around people, we are designed for relationship. We need people. I mean, I know we're doing a remote interview today, and this is wonderful, but I want to be there with you, Claudia, right? I want to see you face to face, because that makes a difference for people. We need to be in relationship. And when we are separated from people, we're going to feel depressed. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
And so this is a formula that can nourish the body. So really, the holistic side of this is we need people. We do, and there's nothing to replace that solid relationships that we need to have. But this is going to feed and fuel our brain's ability to be healthy and to be balanced. And so that's really what it's doing, is giving the building blocks so we can have all neurotransmitters in balance, specifically serotonin, but not exclusively serotonin.
Yes.
We want all neurotransmitters in balance. And that is our process at Red Remedies, is to give the building blocks, because I believe that God created our brains and our bodies to do what they were created to do, and they need to be fed right in order to do that.
Absolutely.
So we give the food, if you will, the building blocks, so our body can do and produce what it needs. I don't want to push and stimulate it in a direction. I want to allow it to do what it's created to do. So Enjoy does that well. And then we add a couple of adaptogen herbs. Here we're using Schizandra, wonderful for emotional stress, and holy basil for emotional strength. I say holy basil is like that best friend that comes over and says nice things, right? And encourages us and helps us to get out and be better than we feel today.
Yes. So it's a wonderful formula. There's some 5-HTP in there, and there's tyrosine, correct?
Yep, and some B vitamins and some
500 milligrams.
So it's a beautiful formula. And again, we're getting some really nice feedback on these products.
And we're going to put this product over by Denny in his pile.
And here's what I'll say about Enjoy. It very nicely lifts you up. It makes you feel like, you know what? I can do this today. This is going to be a good day. I mean, that's the feeling you should have. And it'll take a little bit of time, depending on where you're at, to lift you up there. But it's nice and a steady lift, so we can be healthy and happy and have a good outlook.
So any contraindications if somebody's on antidepressants, anti-anxiety, because we're always asked, and of course we have to address that.
Very important. I would not use this product if you're on an antidepressant without your doctor's approval. I will tell you that we have a close relationship with Dr. Gregory Jantz, and they use this formula in their clinic. It's in a very safe setting. So we know that there are not contraindications, but that doesn't make it safe. We need to understand that. So do not use this without working with your doctor if you're on one of those medications.
Exactly. Okay, so the last one I brought today is Crave Stop. And great product. I've used it, and I really like this product. So tell us about this one.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, this is because we have a sugar problem. You mentioned it a little while ago, Claudia. And you know what's funny about this one is I when I first formulated this product, I really did it for everybody else, because I grew up in a health food store. I have a pretty darn good diet, and I will admit I like a little ice cream here and there. I like a treat, but my diet's pretty clean, pretty good.
Yes.
But one of the things that I've really just come to recognize the last couple of years is, even though I have a good diet, there is sugar in everything. And sugar is a drug. It causes so many issues in the body and in your brain.
Yes, so much distress to the brain, to the endocrine
system.
There's a
formula that is going to work to help your body normalize that blood sugar cycle. And when we normalize that cycle and we don't crash, you don't have cravings. And so not only that, but the impact of that in our bodies is that it's going to help our brain function well, focus, concentration, memory, cardiovascular system. Did you know that our all of the cardiovascular numbers are negatively impacted by sugar? So it's going to have a positive impact on your cardiovascular system.
Yes.
Do you know that depression and mood is related to sugar? We just talked about Enjoy, right?
Right. Well, we knew years ago that one of the biggest offenders to serotonin is sugar.
That's right.
Right. We learned that. I learned that, I don't know, 30 40 years ago. I mean, this is what we teach people.
That's right.
I'm very grateful. My mother never raised us with sugar.
Right.
So myself and my brothers, none of us have a sugar thing, but it's because she didn't raise us with it.
That's right.
And I'm very grateful for that.
Now, wait a minute. When you say sugar thing, when you were growing up, so you didn't have like candy and all that other stuff? What about natural sugar coming out of fruit, like grapes or
something like that?
Yes. So natural sugar, fruit, whatever. Yes. But we never had pop in the house. My mother didn't believe in pasteurized milk. She knew that the heating process damaged, I'm 65 now. I mean, she had a beautiful awareness, and I'm so grateful. She always taught us, stick to the food that God put here, and that means food before factories. She kept it that simple. I share it with other people because it's fair to say there's so many opinions out there about what's considered good food.
Yes.
It's confusing millions of people. We hear about it all day long. So she kept it that simple for us. Stick with food before factories. So she didn't, even at Halloween, when I think she let us pick maybe 2 pieces and the rest of it was gone. And so it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, she was in her bedroom eating it all while you guys were sleeping.
I think our moms must have been in a group together because you're describing my childhood right here, Claudia.
See? Well, that's why your mom started a health food store.
Yeah, I love it. And so I'll just summarize. So Crave Stop is the product for those of you that say, I know I eat too much sugar. I don't like the way I feel. I know I have a blood sugar issue. I know maybe I'm holding more weight than I want to, and I want to be better. This is your tool to help normalize that cycle and help you make a better food choice. So it's the tool. It won't do it for you. It will do it with you.
But
so
the Gymnema in there the Gymnema is wonderful. We've talked about Gymnema on some other shows. So it's a wonderful herb.
Outstanding.
Oh, I like this comment from Darren, one of our viewers right now. He says, I keep kale chips in the cookie jar.
There you go.
Very
wonderful.
Smart. Trick the brain. Cookie jar. This is supposed to be a cookie. Oh, it's kale chips. Man, these are delicious. I like it. Way to go, Darren.
Yeah, very good. Good work. Any other comments?
I've already been responding to people. They want,
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I was. Who was it? Somebody. Suzanne wanted to know what the soft chews, the joint health. So I told her it's joint health soft chews.
Nice.
By Red Remedies. So thank you for that. And then a couple others just saying thank you for what you guys do.
Yeah. Well, thank you, everybody.
Beautiful.
So.
All right, and we're about out of time.
I know.
So what else do we have with Dan?
So real quick, are you going to be at Maho this year?
I know that our company will be there. I don't yet know if I personally will be there. So I wish I could say emphatically yes, but we will see.
If you are.
Come on, you're a Midwest guy, Dan.
Denny and I are going to be there.
Whoa, great.
Well, we hope because it's in Columbus, and as a Michigan fan, that may be quite a challenge. I have a son who goes to the University of Michigan right now, and it might be, and I'm not joking. I told Claudia, I said, look, if I go on this thing, we're going to go and do our show live from the show.
Okay.
And I said, I can't drive with Michigan plates in your car because bad things happen to people that have anything Michigan on their vehicle. I can't wear any of my Michigan clothes. So we're going to work out the details. We would love to see you, Dan.
Well, I'll tell you what, if the two of you are there, I mean, that's like an open invitation and motivation for me. So I might have to make it happen.
Thank you. And we hope that you're back, that you're, will come on with us again because you have a lot of beautiful products. We just, did do a few at a time. So we hope you join us again. Many blessings to you. Thank you so much, Dan.
So I appreciate you both and God bless you.
Well, God bless you as well. Thank you.
Happy Easter.
Oh, enjoy. Yes. What a celebration.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, that was good. That was, man, I'll tell you what, these products, I want to try them all. And I gotta stop myself. It's like, okay, you can't go nuts. You gotta
do one at a time.
You really do. And you gotta pay attention to your body for a week or two to see, the effects or what it's doing. Is there any kickback? But man, you're right, man. He has got some great products.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's a beautiful line. And of course, I'm all about family-owned companies because we've got supplements being sold in, drugstores and, the big box stores, and nobody cares about them, number one, and nobody knows what to do with them, number two. It's disrespectful to me. I want to say that differently. I find it to be very disrespectful when companies are just selling these products to make money and they have no heart, care, or soul about them. These are all these products in our industry. They're very important because they're rebuilding lives. They're not just rebuilding health.
Right.
They're rebuilding lives. So I really honor the family-owned companies.
All right, something I want to say before we're done. There may be a time change for Good Health by Claudia. We're looking at moving it from Friday, so pay attention to Claudia's Facebook page, the email blasts, and because it could happen as early as next week, we could be changing our time, and hopefully you'll change with us. You'll share the videos like I always do. I cut it up into an audio podcast, which we're now on so many different podcast outlets, and including Spotify and Apple and iHeart, and I mean we're really growing. We're very thankful for that. That'll be up Monday. So if you missed anything, of course the video will be up on Claudia's Facebook page. You can go back, but sometimes it's easier just to play it off your phone in your car and just listen as you're driving, and you may have missed something. So and always feel free to share the videos and the podcast. Yes. And Claudia, like always, I'm giving you the last word.
Well, thank you. I love you, and I appreciate you. So, it's as always, I always remind everybody, we all have the ability, if we're willing, to nourish ourselves, to nourish our body, every level of us, going back to holistic health. And it's a beautiful time of year. It's spring. It's Easter. Actually, my family is Orthodox. So we celebrate Orthodox Easter, which is in 2 weeks or something. So we have 2 Easters. But it's a beautiful time of year. It's rejuvenation. And I hope it rejuvenates your faith and understanding that, we are intended to be healthy. And we come in with different immune systems and different things, but we all have the ability to nourish ourselves, to make ourselves stronger and healthier and more balanced. And anyone that knows me have heard me say this a million times. The less dependent we are on pharmaceuticals, the healthier this country will become in many, many, many ways. It's not just about taking a pill. It's about the whole thing that goes with that. So when people find their health and reclaim it, they feel free. They feel alive again. It's a beautiful thing. And as Dan was saying, and we were both saying earlier, we are blessed to see people actually heal themselves of many, many, many things. So I feel very grateful. And I hope that all of you embrace your own health. And as always, keep the faith, share your love, shine your light, and we always focus on the best. So, peace.